Now let's go on to problem 5. Let S be the set of all positive rational numbers R such that when the two numbers R and 55 times R are written as fractions in lowest terms, the sum of the numerator and denominator of one fraction is the same as the sum of the numerator and denominator of the other fraction. The sum of all the elements of S can be expressed in the form P over Q, where P and Q are relatively prime positive integers and we want to find P plus Q. Okay, now let's just say let R equal to A over B. And we can just assume that R is in the simplest form, which GCD of A comma B is equal to 1. Okay, so now let's look at what 50R is. Well, 50R is obviously going to be 55A over B. So this fraction, when we reduce it into its simplest form, which means we reduced it into P over Q, such that GCD of P and between P and Q, the greatest common divisor of P and Q is 1, meaning that they're relatively prime. Then P plus Q is equal to A plus B. So we basically just want to find all such A over B such that when we simplify 55A minus B into P over Q, then satisfies this condition. Okay, so now we know that because 55 is equal to 11 times 5, and when you if you do not believe it, then just divide by 5 and you get 11. Now we're gonna have 4 cases. Well, because the divisors of the 55 is gonna have 1, 5, 11, and 55. And we know that A over B and P over Q, A, B, P, and Q are all positive integers. So now, how are we going to continue from here? Now we just want to see what are the possibilities of 58 over B. What are all the possibilities to simplify this fraction? Now we know that because there are 4 divisors, then we're going to have 4 possibilities. Well, because if you just consider each case, when we consider B to be rewritten in the form of GCD of 55 comma B. Actually, I'm just going to write in red. Times C, which C is just another, well, actually multiplied by D, which D is just another positive integer, and then this one will still be 55 times A. Right, so essentially, if we just divide both sides by GCD 55 comma B, then we can multiply it by this fraction, 1 over GCD comma B, and 1 over GCD 55 comma B. Well, because you know that if we multiply a fraction by some fraction that's equivalent to 1, then the value is going to remain. And we know that this must be in the simplest form, because since A and B are relatively prime, then B must cancel out with some factors of 55 to make it more simplified, or just not cancel out when 55 and B are also relatively prime. So now we just want to see what are the cases of this. So we're gonna have 4 cases. Well, because as I mentioned, there are 4 divisors of 55. So first we're gonna have GCD of 55 comma B equal to 55, which means that this is the not even the most this is not even the most simplified form. We're gonna divide both sides by 55. Then we know that 55a over b is gonna be equal to 55a over b over 55 times d over 55. Well, because we have already defined that b is equal to GCD of b comma 55 times d. We already defined this, and this is gonna be applicable to all of the 4 cases. Well, actually, this one should not be b, it should be 55. Let me just correct it really quick. So now, in this case, we're gonna have a over d is equal to 55 times a over b. And we know that one of the conditions of the problem is that the sum of the numerator and the denominator, when it's in the simplest form, must be equal between r and 55r. So this is r and this is 55r. So we're gonna have a plus d is equal to a plus b, which d is equal to b. But we know that b is also equal to 55d. So this basically means that d is equal to 55d, which d is equal to 0, b is equal to 0. But we know that because the fraction is a over b, then b cannot be 0, so essentially we have a contradiction. So essentially this branch would not work. Now what if GCD, the second case, GCD b comma 55 is gonna be equal to 11. Okay, then 55a over b, which is our original fraction of 55r, that's gonna be equal to 55 over a, no, 55 times a over 11 over 11d over 11, which is equal to 5a over d. Now apply the second condition, we're gonna get 5a plus d is equal to a plus b. Well, because we know that this is not simplifiable because a and d must be relatively prime. Now 4a is equal to b plus d, but remember that d is equal to what? D is equal to b over 11. Or, more simplifiedly, b is equal to 11d. So why not we just do that instead? Wait, excuse me, it should be b minus d. Sorry for the mistake. Okay, so now this gives that 4a is equal to 10d. Okay, so essentially this is gonna give that 4a is equal to 10 over 11 times b, because d is equal to 1 over 11b. And since we want the values of r, so essentially we get that a over b is equal to 10 over 44, which is 5 over 22, if you have the simplest form. Now let's go on to the third case. Now GCD of b comma 55 is equal to 5. Now in this case, we're gonna have 55a over 5 and over 5d over 5, which is equal to 11a over d. Okay, so now we just have 11a plus d is equal to a plus b, and we can just substitute d in it. We're gonna get 11a plus b over 5 is gonna be equal to a plus b. So 10a is equal to b 4 over 5. So this gives us a over b is equal to 4 over 50, which is 2 over 25. Now let's look at the last one. Well, the last one is going to be GCD of 55 comma b is equal to 55, where it's going to be equal to 1. So this basically just means that 55a over d is not simplifiable. So from the condition that the sum of the numerator and the denominator must be the same, then we're going to get 55a plus b is equal to a plus b. So 54a equal to 0. Well, actually, it should be 55a over 55 and over which is just equal to 55a over b, right? Now 55a plus b is equal to a plus b. Then 54a is 0, so this means that a is 0. But we know that 0 clearly cannot work because, well, actually, even though 0 might work, then it's not going to even contribute to our sum, and we also want positive rational numbers, and 0 is not positive, so we don't want this case neither. So now we extracted our answer to be 5 over 22 and 2 over 25, so we want the desired sum, which is 5 over 22 plus 2 over 25. Don't mess up the calculation here. We're gonna get 125 plus 44 over 25 times 22, 550, which is 169 over 550. And we want to find the value of a plus b, so the answer is just 719 to this problem. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.